Welcome back to my channel. It's Dan here, and in this, I'm going to be taking you through how you never have to create slide decks ever again. Can you imagine that? In a world, you don't have to go in there and do the fiddly admin task of creating slide decks. Well, now you don't have to. If you're anything like me, that's amazing because it saves you time. Something that's not really that enjoyable, let's be honest. And also, they look really good. So in this YouTube, I'm going to be going through that, I'll be showing you the tools and assets you need to be able to create these, the process that I use, and that might be one that you want to adopt, or maybe you want to take parts of this and use it for your own setup, depending on what you use, right? But ultimately, I'm going to show you a way that's been working for me, that's enabled me to create more slide shows, slide decks, workshops, and to be able to create them on a scale that if I was doing it manually before, it would have taken me absolutely hours to create this. So if you can create more, you can do more, you can put out more, you can share more of your world to the audience that you want to help. That's a good thing, right? So I'm going to show you as I switch over to my screen, and we'll show you how we get involved with it.
Now in this example, I'm going to use Manus to show you how I've set mine up, but you might use Claude or ChatGPT, for example. However, I do find that Manus, or even Claude now, will have better outputs that you're looking for when it comes to creating slide decks, slides. Like you can see, I've even got this linked in here if you want. So for example, like before we do anything, we need to have a brand identity kit, something that you can give to the AI, the LLM, so that it knows what to use in terms of brand style, tone, fonts, colors, whatever it is, right? And if you don't have one of these, don't panic too much because we can definitely build one. I will drop this link in the description below. This is a whole brand identity kit framework, right? If you were to complete this, you wouldn't have to do very much like later on when you're coming to looking at having a brand identity kit, okay? That should do you good in this example, right? Other things you might have already, if you've worked with any kind of branding agency, designers, things like that, you might already have stuff like this that we can use, okay? But this will get you ahead if you don't have that and you don't want to pay the money that these things can cost. Like I say, it probably won't be as good as a really, really well put together brand promise from a designer, but it's going to get you going, right? Things that you can do here, if you also don't have something that you know, like you haven't got a solid color palette or anything like that, if you go to your Instagram, right, and you pull it up, and then from there, if you just looked at like some of the stuff that you're maybe using on it already, or you might have some commonality between like colors that you pulled from Canva or whatever, or different fonts that you use, okay, what you could do is you could in essence like come in here and you could do a screenshot and you could just take a snapshot of like what is here, okay, and you could then use that to upload with the brand identity kit framework and then just give that context to the project that you're going to set up in here, right? So you can do stuff like that as well. So just try and think a little bit outside the box. If you haven't got this already, or you haven't got parts of the document in here, don't worry, it's fine, we can always make do. Or you might even go and you like someone else's branding style, you might think about that. Be careful on that though, because you don't want to then start looking the same as someone else and just copying their things, right? So once you've got that, your brand identity kit, you've got that set, you're going to come into your preferred tool. Like I say, mine is Manus in here, and then we're going to set up a project in the site. So we go into here, we go into projects, and we're going to set that up. In here, you'll call it like your slide decks, workshops, whatever it is. So you'd come in here and put, okay, workshops, and you're going to put some instructions in here. I have the instructions for you, so don't panic as well. The instructions here are universal, so you can all use them. You just have to edit it for your style, tone. And obviously, when you have the brand identity kit and this, everything works together, right? So you would take that and you upload it into the instructions part there. So once it's done, you just take this, copy it, paste it into here, upload it. Now, a few other things you can do at this point, right? See this little box here, it says connectors. You can click in here and you can add some connectors in. So if you have like some images or folders that you want to use in Google Drive, then you're going to click that, right? Same thing, you might want to link it to some other softwares or tools that, like Dropbox, for example, I know I have a lot of photos in there that we use sometimes. I'm going to link it to there. You could link this to other tools as well if you wanted to drop it into like some of your other softwares like Notion or Slack. But to be fair, you want to just think where you're storing stuff at the moment, and then you could link that through to it. So they're probably like the main ones I link. If you want to link some others, you can do that. But they're just to let you know, once you've got them, you add them, and then you're going to create the project. So I'll show you what mine looks like at the moment. There we go. These are what I use for our weekly calls on here, coffee kickstart calls. And then you'll see on the right, we've got the instructions that are linked in here, which we can open up and see. These are instructions. They're similar to the ones that you've got up here, but just based for my business and coaching. And then we've also got the files here that I've added, and we've got specific fonts we use that we bought, so we purchased those, and we've also got color values here as well that are from our brand kit, so they get all put into here as well. We could add more files here, but to be fair, it works really well with just these, and we've got the connectors in as well. So from here, this is where we're going to use everything in this project. It's going to be geared around this as a project for slideshows or workshops. Okay, that's what we're using it for. Now, how are we going to use this then? So this is where we're going to obviously put the content. So you need to still create the content for this, right? That's up to you. If you want to go and get AI and these models to create the content for you, that's up to you. But I would strongly urge you to create your content still based off the things that you want to present in these workshops and slideshows, and then bring it over to here. So I've got some work that is in a document, and I'm going to basically paste it in here and then show you what happens. So build slide deck to present this information. Cool. Paste that in. Then from here, I'm going to click send, and then it's going to go away, do its thing. As you can see, what happens here is it will build out the outline of the slides first in here, then it will get into building out each of the slides. Okay, once it's done, it will have the whole slide deck here. You can go back and see what it's done here, or we can click into it, right? I'm going to show you it here. We can go into each slide and we can go through, and you'll see that this is all obviously in our complete and utter brand palettes, colours. There's nothing that shouldn't be in here, and the fonts as well are all ours, right? So there's nothing that is like added into this, right? So I'll go through and I'll check. Like here, for example, this needs changing, so that's something that we can get edited. But as I look through, most of it is pretty much where we want things, because we use very visual slides. We don't have a lot of text in them, because who wants to read a load of text on the slides, right? So what you can do now is you can go into each of these and we can edit. So we can edit in here if we want, or we can actually just say to them, so I'm going to ask for slide 6. I'm just going to tell them to edit the middle part. Is just not quite formatted right, okay? And there we go, all fixed. See, right in the center, in the box, all done. And that's pretty much it. And you can see that took me 7 minutes. And I was scrolling my phone while it was building. So you might think that this is removing part of the process, but ultimately it's all within the brand context. So if you do these bits like we spoke about before, you have your own identity kit framework, you've got your own custom instructions, how you want it to look, everything aligns across the different workshops and slides that you create, so it's not all like random stuff every single time you're creating. That's the thing that builds trust, is the uniformity of things across the board, right? So the information is obviously going to come from you. The information is stuff that you are confident on and that you know about, that you're an expert and authority in. So putting it together, save yourself some time, some headaches and stress, and use something like this to be able to help you. Now, like I say, I use Manus because a lot of my work is in here, but you could do the same thing in Claude or wherever. But if you want to get access to the frameworks that help you with this, like I say, they're in the description below. And if you have any questions on this at all, like please let me know in the comments as well. You could go and do this in a software like Gamma.ai, for example, and you can brand stuff to them. I use Gamma, I have it, I have an account with them. A lot of this stuff is very personal to you, so depending on what you want to get from it, then you do the work and figure out which ones work and which ones don't work. The truth doesn't change, right? The content, the thing that you put into this is still the most important part, so that doesn't change. If you're still using this stuff to put out rubbish, it's just going to be prettier rubbish, right? So think about it, like do these bits first, upload it, have a project that's going to be the solid one you use for this stuff, Doesn't matter where you use it, but save yourself some time, some stress. And if you found this useful, please let me know below. Please give me the old thumbs up because it does help. And I'll see you in the next one.